This is GIBRAN's The Prophet. This photo was taken by his mentor, Fred Holland Day. This book is full of illustrations that were created by GIBRAN himself. And in the end, there is so much you can go ahead and put into a few hundred pages, but using poetry and philosophy, he was able to go ahead and put 26 timeless themes, or so, maybe it was 36, I might have misread it. Using poetry and philosophy to explain all of them. What I mean by explain is, he doesn't just tell you how to do something. He doesn't tell you just how marriages should go. He includes the part about what it is, what marriage is, what it really is, not what people think it is. Once they fix that, there's, no going back. What makes The Prophet so special is that even with its pretty short amount of period, it was able to go ahead and amass hundreds and hundreds of knowledges that would have taken tens of years to really write this. And GIBRAN himself really took about a decade to go ahead and write this. Arguably, so he wrote it for about 3 to 4 decades, according to how long he had this book in mind. This current manuscript form, though, it only worked on it for the last few years of his life. And even then, he was able to go ahead and not accomplish much too. The Prophet itself was originally written in English, which is really amazing since this guy is Lebanese and, Arabic was his mother tongue. But in the end, he wrote his masterpiece, his Mona Lisa, which went ahead and created this spark and outrage of everywhere and everywhere too. Here, the first year, though, it wasn't very crazy. It only sold all of its copies in the first year, which was 1,500 copies. Then the sales doubled for the second year, and then the third year it doubled again and again and again and again. In the end, there is just so much that you can really put onto this, but GIBRAN was able to use all that poetry, all that philosophical thinking to go ahead and compare things too. He compares children towards arrows and their parents as the archers who arch the bow to go ahead and fire off their kids. And once they fire their kid, which is the arrow, they just have to hope. They can only hope that their kid will go ahead and hit the bullseye mark. This is the success, but it will not always happen like that. The archer's guidance will be the one that goes ahead and makes sure the arrow hits the bullseye mark. Other things such as religion and faith are really told about too. GIBRAN even tells us about religion and their actions. When he was prompted to talk about religion, he talked about religion, yes, but he included the parts about actions based on religion. Religion himself he called a bunch of faith. And it was always important to carry out certain deeds in the name of that religion or in the name of the god of the religion, which was becoming quite often. Mainly though, GIBRAN went ahead and wrote all this to make sure that he can go ahead and, have something written down to go ahead and make something last for a while. Also, he had to carve out a lot at the end. Here, GIBRAN himself went ahead and wrote a bunch more things to really talk about. He talks about education, talking, speaking, and how speaking, or talking as it is known in the text, is a way to half-kill the mind. And that in teaching, you can go ahead and teach what you have learned, but you cannot teach all that expression, all the original things that you have learned yourself. Everyone has their own unique version, and they have to find theirs. In the end, though, there isn't much that the GIBRAN's The Prophet can really tell us about. It goes ahead, Al-Mustafa goes ahead and tells us about good and evil, how evil is just a corrupted version of the good. Neither one can exist without the other. And once you get hang of your morals, though, you will be able to go ahead and understand the Prophet too. Once you understand your feelings and your basis at first, then you are able to do whatever as much as you can really think about doing. GIBRAN's The Prophet went ahead and told us a lot about how life works. In the end, GIBRAN does earn the title of the People's Prophet. He can go ahead and tell people how they should live and how they should interrupt it. And once you have all that settled down, it's only then can you go ahead and ask for a friend. What makes this 1980s Bible, The Prophet goes ahead, and more special, though, is how he went ahead and reacted towards social norms. So in the end, all this will be able to be passed down from the generation to the next generation to the next generation, which has already happened. And now it's our turn to go ahead and tell it to the next generation so they can go ahead and get some valuable riches. In the end, so there's not much else we can really say about the Prophet. One more thing I will add towards the Prophet, so before I have to leave this place. The Prophet itself is a wonderful tool of the future. It can perceive the future, and it can even have a pretty big and unlimited understanding of certain things. In the end, though, this is just a Prophet by KAHLIL GIBRAN, one of the most famous ones, though, and the one that is probably, arguably, the most influential. That is it about KAHLIL GIBRAN's The Prophet. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll see you guys soon. Until next time, Shahana, peace. Bye bye.